Hello everyone and welcome to Tuscany in Italy. I'm here basically recceing my wedding venue. So I'm going to be getting married in May, which is really exciting actually. Everything's getting really quite close now. There's only about 4 months to go. So everything's kind of heating up and we've got lots of preparations to do. And one of the things that we've had to do is come over to Italy and we're going to be trying all the menu and everything like that. But one of the added bonuses for landscape photography is this area is absolutely beautiful, and we've come a short drive from our wedding venue. We've come up the tallest mountain in the area. It's a little bit over 2,000 feet in height. So we've driven up to the top. We had a little look around, and basically it's not quite high enough to be above the tree line. So although the views are quite impressive, for landscape photography you really actually can't see that much. There's too many trees kind of blocking in the way, and try as we might, there's no photos to be had up there that are worthwhile taking, especially at the moment. It's midday, so we've got quite harsh lighting at the moment, so it's not at its best. What we were thinking is if we come up here now, perhaps in the morning for sunrise, it might be a really good location to come. But for the epic views and stuff, they are epic, but not for photography, unfortunately. But on the way up here, we happened to kind of come up on this dirt track, which has led us through an old ancient coppiced sweet chestnut forest, basically. And this tree that I'm by at the moment is absolutely incredible, and I can't resist stopping and taking a photo. So been walking around it a little while, having a look at some of the features that it's got, and trying to work out the best way to photograph it, really. It is going to be tricky, like I said, because there is quite harsh lighting. So it's casting quite a nice side light, but to be honest with you, I would rather shoot it in a bit of a softer lighting. One of the things it has got is there's some absolutely lovely polypody ferns. I love those. So all the times that I've been to the temperate rainforests in Britain last year, I was always on the lookout for these polypody ferns, and it's great to see them as a bit of an added bonus on these trees. So this tree that I'm by at the moment, I reckon is probably about 1,000 years old. So it's been here for much, much longer than all of the other trees. So there's different age ranges. There's ones that are probably 500, ones that are probably only a couple of hundred, and then going down to, probably ones that are 50 years old. And all of them probably have come from this tree's seed. So this is the mother tree here. And because it's that few hundred years older than the rest, it's highly likely that this tree has given rise to all of the other ones. So I'm going to try and photograph it. Hopefully I can do it justice, because it is, from where we're standing, it's quite a special tree, really. It's got lots of historical features to it. There's ancient axe marks that have probably been made, who knows how long ago. Could have been 50 years ago, could have been 500 years ago, where they've been chopping off branches and that sort of thing. There's a big hollow on the inside which has had a fire in it at some point, probably to protect it from the wind, because it's quite windy here. So hopefully the audio's sounding all right at the moment. Just quite a few interesting features. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit of a wander around with the camera. I've got the Sony a6700 and the Tamron 18-300, but I have already seen a shot that lends itself to being a wide angle with the polypody ferns in. So I'll possibly get that one first, and then go for this big lens and just really work out a great composition, because I'm sure what I'd love to do is to be able to tell the story of the whole area. So to have this tree as the focal point, but also include a lot of these other sweet chestnut, nearly said horse chestnut, but yeah, all these other sweet chestnuts in as well. That'd be great to be able to show all the different age ranges and just how the land has been used over these hundreds or maybe even thousands of years. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see if we can get a photo out of it. Right, so after about half an hour of faffing around and going all the way around the tree, really trying every single angle. I've gone sort of uphill looking down. I've been on the road over there as well, kind of shooting down in this direction. Nothing was really working, but I've come down to the kind of the road up that we were originally on when we saw this tree. And it's ended up being the one that I like out of every single composition that I've tried. So this is where I am. I've got the camera set up. I've got the Tamron 18-300 and I'm about 35mm. I've got it set to f11 at the moment, aperture priority, polarizer on with a slight bit of polarization because I did quite like the effect. It makes the shadows a little bit harsher, which is a shame, but it also brings out the greens, and some of those mossy colors are just looking incredible. So I really wanted that extra bit of saturation that the polarizing filter gives me. I may prefer it, I'll probably take one afterwards, and I may prefer that one without the polarizer on, but for now I'm keeping it on there, and I think that's probably going to be the one that I'm most happy with. So yeah, I think I'm ready to take the photo. I've been faffing around for long enough, so yeah, hopefully this is kind of the best angle. It would be incredible to come here, you know, probably, you know, not even that long, another hour or two. The light would just dip that little bit below the horizon. It's sort of right above the trees at the moment, but we just don't have time, so I'm not hanging around and waiting here. There might be another opportunity to come back at another stage. It's only about 15 minutes away from where we're staying, so there could be another possibility there, but for now I'm happy with this. I've just got to keep my eye on the road actually, because I'm standing in the middle of the road, so I just don't want a car to come along. There's only been 1 or 2 cars since we've been here, so it's really remote, really quiet, but yeah, just keeping an eye out. So yeah, that's going to be it. I'm gonna take the shot now, and we'll see how it turns out. So just looking through the viewfinder again, some of the colours are just not the colours, some of the stems of the trees are just that bit too bright. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to exposure bracket. I'm going to take a couple of darker shots, and I'll probably do a three shot exposure bracket, and then I'll blend them in Photoshop, because I just think some of it doesn't look very bright to the naked eye, but through the lens it just looks that bit too bright, some of the tones, and it will also help to bring out some of those shadows as well, so it's not a bad idea. The other thing to mention, the reason that it's taken so long for me to work out this composition is because there's so many trees involved in the scene. It's not just the one shot of the ancient tree. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees, so I really wanted to get a good amount of separation in between the trees, just to make sure that there's not too many overlapping stems, and just so, you know, one area doesn't look too bunched up and then another area looks too empty. So this frame that I've got, it's working out quite nicely. There's quite a lot of space in between the trees, so you can see everything quite clearly, which I always like. The only thing to mention is where I have the camera positioned. That gives me the perfect level of space in between those trees. But what it does do is there's a little sign right in the background which is going to be in the shot, and I'm going to have to edit that out in Photoshop, which I don't usually like to do. If I can help it, if I can move slightly to the left or right or backwards and forwards and lose that sign, you know, with using my photography skills rather than you know, actually just cloning that out, then I would rather do that. But this is the only way to do it. This is where I need the camera for those crisscrossing stems, so I'm going to have to edit that out in Photoshop. But there's another sign that I will definitely be leaving in the frame, because it just tells the story. It's a sign that tells people not to pick the sweet chestnuts, or not to forage for them off the ground. So I just quite like that, because it helps to tell everyone and the viewer of the photo that this area is, you know, is an area that is really good for sweet chestnuts, and that people might be tempted to pick them, and you know, there's a farmer or someone who owns these trees who, you know, they belong to him. So yeah, I just quite like to leave it in there. So I'm probably not going to edit that one out, but the one right in the background, it will just catch the eye in a place that I don't want the viewer to be drawn to. So yeah, that one probably will have to be cloned out in Photoshop, I'm afraid. But yeah, for the most part, it's a really nice balanced frame, and yeah, I'm really quite happy with it in the end. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. I'd be curious to see what you think of the photo. So I'm finally ready. Continuous bracket. What I've gone for in the end is half a stop but 5 images, so 2 shots underexposed, 2 shots overexposed, and then obviously my original exposure. So yeah, hopefully that gives me the full dynamic range, and I'm able to blend in Photoshop and make those bits a bit brighter in the shadows if I need to, and then bring down some of the highlights on those bright trees as well. That's probably going to be the main area that I'm going to need to take down, so that just gives me enough dynamic range to do whatever I need to do, because I'm not going to be back here in a hurry unless I come back for another shoot on another day. The one thing, if I do come back and the light's a bit more balanced, I'm going to lose that side lighting, because at the moment it is quite nice actually, having the side light. In fact, I'm going to take a shot right now. There we go, there's the 5. So yeah, I do quite like that side lighting. It gives the tree quite a nice bit of definition, but it does make those shadows too harsh, and obviously the bright's too bright as well. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with this in the end. It's taken quite a while to work it out to the way I want it, but yeah, let's move on to the next one now, I think.